In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to give you a tactic which could massively improve the way you answer interview questions. It's a tactic I tried on a couple of my students a couple of days ago, and it had some really quick and really fast results. Just before we get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Owen. I'm a degree apprentice, and I help people get degree apprenticeships in the engineering, technology, and finance industries. In particular, last year I helped people get into companies like Amazon, JLR, KPMG, Rolls-Royce, just to name a few. And already this year I'm helping some of my students get into the assessment centre at JP Morgan. So for many of you who've maybe never done an interview before, or you've not done any proper ones, you're quite nervous about interviews, you're not very confident, you haven't done much practice, your answers to interview questions are probably going to sound a bit like this. Okay, so I want you to watch this video and just make a note of where you think this sort of answer, where the person is going wrong in this answer. Go have a watch.
So I think a degree apprenticeship really appeals to me because, well, it combines hands-on experience with academic learning. I learn best when I can apply things practically. So getting real world experience while studying is the perfect balance for me. Also, earning while I learn is a big plus because it would help me avoid some of the debt from traditional university, and just working in the industry from day one means I can build skills that are directly relevant to the job. I feel it's a more effective way for me to grow professionally, and overall those are some of the reasons why I'd like to do a degree apprenticeship.
So what did you think about that answer then? What did you think was good? What did you think was bad with that answer? Essentially, with interviews, there's two things you need. Okay, and you need both of them. You can't have one of them, you can't have the other one. You need to have both of them, okay? The first one is you need to just be saying good things. Okay, so you need to be talking about your experiences, talking about your skills, showing you're a good candidate, showing that you've done research, you know a lot. So that's the first thing there. You just need to learn what to say so you can have a good answer, okay? But the problem is, there's also a second part, and that second part is the delivery. Because you can have the best answer planned, you can have done all the research, you've got all the necessary experience, you're referring back to skills, you're linking to the company values wherever possible. But if you don't have a good delivery, you're not good at talking, you're not good at communicating, you're not good at being in that interview and talking to the interviewer, then it means nothing. Okay, so that was the key sort of mistake with that interview you've just watched there, is the answers were good, but the delivery wasn't very good. And straight away, that delivery was very unprofessional. Straight away, it goes from good answers to no, this is unprofessional. And what specifically, I don't know if you noticed it, what specifically made the delivery of that not very good, and what made sort of the answers seem unprofessional? The answer was, it was the ums and ers. Okay, sort of every sentence or so, there just seemed to be like a just sort of in between. You're umming and erring, trying to think of an answer. Okay, so this is a sort of a technique that I use myself, because I used to and a lot. I don't really do that too much these days. And to be fair, now that I've just said that, I'm probably going to start doing ums and ers in this video, right? But usually I've sort of got over my ums and ers. I don't say it too much. So there's this tactic you can use, which I tested it with one of my students when I was giving them a mock interview. So the first student I tried this on, I was noticing in a few of his answers that he kept doing this thing. He kept going sort of in his answers. And I was like, okay, let's just count. Let's just see what sort of numbers are going on here. When I counted, he was basically saying and 8 times in his interview question. So I'd ask him a question, he'd give his answer, and there were 8 sort of ums or ers that occurred during his answer. It sounded kind of a bit unprofessional, okay? So I gave him this tactic, and let me just read off to you what the next questions were and like how many times he ums and ers. Right, I've got the list here. So it was 8 ums and ers. Then I give him the tactic, implement the tactic. For the rest of the interview, he used this tactic, and this was how many times in each question. I literally counted it. He ummed and erred. Okay, so 8. Then it went to 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1, 3. Okay, so literally after that 8 question and I told him the tactic. Boom, implement it straight away. 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1, 3. So on some of those questions, he completely halved it, quartered it, thirded it, eighth. Is there a thing for that? Like on one of his questions, he went from 8 to once just by this. I'll give you another example. Another student who I did a mock interview with, she in one of her answers said and 13 times in one answer. Like what she was saying, her actual answers were good. I could tell she'd done research, she was linking to values, linking to skills. They were good answers, but it was just about that delivery and the professionalism of that delivery, and the ums and ers really were sort of pulling that answer down, dragging sort of her ability as a candidate down from where she could have been. So in one of her answers, it was 13. She said and 13 times in one answer. I gave her this technique. Guess what her next answer was after I gave her this technique? Her next answer was 2. She said and 2 times in total. Okay, so this tactic works. Okay, that's what I want to communicate right now. This tactic works, and it's something you can implement straight away to improve your answers, just like I've shown here. Okay, so let me now get into the tactic itself so you can implement this into your interviews and improve your delivery. And are what you call filler words. Okay, that's what they're called. They're called filler words. And essentially, your brain says them when it is thinking of something to say. Now, when you're communicating, whether that be in a conversation, whether that be in a presentation, whether that be in an interview, whether that be filming a YouTube video, in your mind, you're trying to articulate your words. You're trying to come up with, what's the next word I want to say? How do I want to phrase this? You're sort of planning it out in your head and then saying it. And now, usually, in a conversation, this is pretty fine a lot of the time because you can just sort of plan out what to say, you say it fine. But when you come to these high pressure situations, for example, a presentation in front of a lot of people, for example, a YouTube video where you're trying to get it right, or for example, an interview, this is where, because you are consciously being more careful with your words, you're trying to specifically articulate a specific thing, it means you spend a lot more time thinking about the words. You're trying to articulate it more clearly. And what this means is you end up umming and erring a lot. Okay, you might not do it in normal conversations, you might be pretty good with that, but when you come to an interview, it suddenly just comes out of nowhere, and that's just because you're thinking of what to say. Like, I understand it, it's fair enough, you're thinking of what to say. So you're going to have these pauses in your conversation, so pauses in your sentence, pauses in your answer, where you're thinking of what to say. What's the next thing I should say? Should I mention this value? How should I talk about my communication skills? What should I say here? This is where your brain wants to fill it in. That's why it's called a filler word, okay? So we're thinking of a sentence, then I need just 1 or 2 seconds just to think about how I'm going to articulate it. Your brain sees that gap and it goes, what I was thinking was a sentence, and then okay, that's how you do it. All it is just a pause. And your brain wants to fill that pause, so you do an and a. Okay, here's the tick. The tick, I was trying to say tip and trick at the same time, but here's the tip, okay? Essentially, just be silent. Okay, now this might sound kind of stupid, right? Oh, I'm telling you to and is what I'm saying don't, right? Homeless by, like, do you know what I mean, okay? But literally, when you are trying to think of something to say, just be comfortable with silence, okay? This and the umming and erring, it comes from you've been conditioned to be afraid of silence. Okay, this is like a sort of commentary on the social situation of the world right now. We're all on social media, which basically means we've all lost our social skills, like it's true, okay? Yeah, essentially. What it means is we are scared of silences, okay? You might have heard the phrase like awkward silence, where you need to say something and you can't think of what to say and it's kind of awkward. You have to understand silence is absolutely fine. Like, I'll give you an example. I can be in a conversation with someone and I genuinely have no idea what to say. Like, they'll just say something, they'll respond and say something. I'm trying to think of what to respond and I genuinely have no idea what to say. Okay? I'm not like the best conversationalist in the world or whatever. So all I'll do is I'll just pause for 5 seconds and just think about it. And once you become comfortable with the pause, you become comfortable with the silence, that's when all the ums and ers just go away. Okay? Because essentially, your brain no longer feels the need to fill in those gaps. So whenever you're thinking of something, you're in an interview, you're trying to articulate yourself, you're in a presentation, you're in a conversation, and you need to think about the word, just pause. It's absolutely fine. Silence is fine. You don't have to constantly be talking. It's like in my YouTube videos, you might notice sometimes I'm trying to say something, but there's a second where I'll go like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, I'll go quiet. Because I'm trying to work out what's the best way I could say this to help you guys, the viewer, get value from this video. Okay, so I want you to, you know what, here's what I'll do actually, I've just thought about this. At the end of this video, I'm going to display like a question on the screen. Okay, it's going to be like a degree apprenticeship related interview question. And when it comes up, I just want you to the screen, I want you to give your answer, okay? Do an answer, okay? As if it was a real interview. And I just want you to think, as you're doing it the whole time, take your time. If you need to pause for a second, then pause for a second, okay? Because essentially, these pauses are going to happen anyway, but it's a case of, do I say and during them, or do I just stay silent? Okay? Just stay silent. You don't need to say Still have the same pause, but just be silent. And it basically means you're saying the exact same answer. You're saying the same things with the same pauses in between each thing. But instead of umming and erring randomly because your brain is afraid of silence, you're just silent for a second. Okay, so I want you to try this. So as I said, I'll put a question in a second, and I want you to have a go at that question. And during the question, when you're talking about it, when you're thinking about your next sentence, when you're thinking about your next point, when you're articulating yourself, you can pause and just be silent. Be happy with the silence. Be okay with the silence. That's the biggest lesson from this. Be okay with silence. This is an interview thing. This is a presentation thing. This is a communication thing. Just be happy with silence. Be fine with silence. Be okay with silence. You practice this, you'll get better at interviews. You'll also be better in conversations and with social skills, because you'll realize that it's not a case of when anyone says anything, you have to immediately have a reply, or you have to do everything all at once. You have to have all your answers. You have to have all your words, sentences in your head ready. No, it's fine. Silence is absolutely fine. That's the key learning point. So I hope you found this video valuable. I want you to try it, and hopefully it should help remove these ums and ers. And so you're changing nothing about your answer, but it's just making your delivery more professional, and they are literally going to view you 50% higher. Like, if you don't think you're a good communicator or you're a good speaker, it's not too hard to improve, because get rid of the ums and ers, and it's like you're half the way there already. Okay, I feel like I should do a counter on myself in this video, how many times I've done and because I'm still not perfect, but it's like you can improve by doing this. Just get used to the silence. So I hope you found this video valuable to help you with your interviews and also just your communication skills in general. If you have found it valuable, I'd appreciate if you just go leave a like on this video, because then I can do more sort of videos helping with interviews if you guys like that sort of thing. And then in a second, I'm going to put the question on screen. If you need to, take 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever, just to think about it, go into your answer, maybe even record it as well. Maybe record sort of a voice message or something on your phone. Go back to it, count how many ums and ers you did. And if you're being okay with the silence, if you're comfortable with the silence, then you won't be doing ums and ers. See, just then, like, that's just an example. I was trying to articulate how should I say that final sentence. I could have gone, so then you'll be out. No, I just was silent, thought about it, delivered it. There you go. Hope you found this video valuable. The question will be on screen now. See you in a bit. If you want to jump on a one-on-one call with me so that I can help you smash your interviews, then go click the link in the description and have a look at my coaching program, which I'm hosting on the school website, which, now that I think about it, that might be the wrong way around on your screen, but like, whatever. The school website, that's where my coaching program is. What you do is go click the link, we'll go book a free consultation call, or jump on a call with you, see if you'd be a good fit for the program. That if you are a good fit for the program and I think I could help you, we'll get you onboarded, and that means you're going to get the bonuses like the courses, group weekly calls, and also get one-to-one calls with me where we can do mock interviews and I can help you with your interviewing abilities so that you can go and smash your interviews. So if you would be interested in that, go to the link in the description and book a free consultation call with me. See you in a bit.